Hey, welcome back to Virtual Worm Blender tutorial number 2. So in our last tutorial we downloaded and installed Blender 2.49, downloaded the Virtual Worm blend file, and adjusted a few user preferences. In addition to the user preferences that I showed you, there's actually a couple more that I want to set just because it'll make it much more visually appealing to actually work with the model. If you pull down this bar at the top to open up the user preferences, and you come over to the System and OpenGL button where we originally selected Emulate Numpad, I'd like you to adjust the solid OpenGL lights. And basically what I'd like us to do is first turn on all three lights, so make sure that all three buttons are depressed of the light buttons. And then I want to make all of the colors of these lights similar to this first one here. The easiest way to do this is to just left click inside this box that gives us a color selector, and we'll just click on sample, which allows us to sample this color right here, that light gray, and so we see we have the same color. And then for the bottom one, we just want to sample the darker color, and we'll do that for the other one as well. And so that's that. And then I would suggest just kind of like turning these around so that you get a little bit of light on the bottom and on the top like this. We don't want it to get too bright. I think that's probably pretty good. And then again, we can pull this back up so it's out of our way and then save default settings. Now I think we should be all set and ready to go to start working with the worm file. Now go ahead and go to File and click on Open, and you should find the Virtual Worm March 2011.blend file that that we downloaded from the Virtual Worm site, the FTP site. So if you've remembered where you saved it onto your machine, and we can open it up. Just go ahead and click Open, and voila. Okay, so here is, you should see something like this when you open up the Virtual Worm file. So what you first see is the default setup, and we have 4 windows here. We've got one large window that has the worm anatomy inside of it, and that's the 3D view window. We also have 2 large tall column windows here that have are essentially a series of lists. The left list actually represents a list of individual objects, or cell objects actually, inside the Blender model. Over here we have actual groups of cells, including tissues and functional groups of cells, and this way we can actually explore the entire anatomy based on the different functions that each of these cells have and how they're grouped. Okay, and over here, as I mentioned, these are the individual cell names. If you're not familiar with the names of the cells in C. elegans at first, you may get more confused than anything by going through these, but you can pick on a few. Many of them are, of course, neurons. There's so many of them, but there's just about 700 objects in the file. 650 or somewhere. Okay, so we have individual cells, we have cell groups and tissues, we have the 3D view window, and then down here we have a simple GUI, graphical user interface, that has function buttons. The basic idea behind this, having these panel buttons, was to allow you to select a series of cells based on their function or individually based on their name, and then perform some sort of visualization function on them. In the next tutorial, I'll go through the basic functionality of how to work in the 3D view window and manipulate the worm and manipulate some of our visualization options. Okay, see you next time.